We're at an interesting point right now. Bitcoin is literally about to break down. Everyone and their nan is talking about Bitcoin breaking down, which is completely fine because we've rallied up very strongly from our recent low to our recent high. 12 days we managed to rise up by 46%. So yeah, we're pulling back probably down to about $25,000. I think that would make a lot of sense. And as far as I'm concerned, we're just taking the scenic route on the way up. I know that there's a lot more speculation about Bitcoin continuing to fall and falling much deeper into the low $20,000 range. I do not see that happening right now. I think that at the moment, Bitcoin has been moving really nicely, and while I am expecting one of them kind of quick flash dumps, I don't necessarily think that they're going to take us too low. And it's all because of the same things I've been talking about recently. Guys, everything the market has been doing, I want to put this in perspective for you. Everything the market has been doing since we set this high. That means dropping down over here. That means just trading sideways and kind of boring ranges for 5 days. That means pulling back from our high down to our current low by 8%. Everything we've done has not taken us down into a major area of support like the 𝐄𝐗𝐂𝐇𝐀 yet. And I know that you guys absolutely love to rip into me for using what is one of my favorite indicators in the world. This is by far one of the most reliable indicators I've ever used, and I know you guys find it almost borderline comedic how much I talk about it with so much love and affection, but that is because it is such a reliable indicator, and we haven't even found support there yet. I want to highlight this to you guys, that I was warning you about the one-day 𝐄𝐗𝐂𝐇𝐀 potentially providing some really good support to Bitcoin if we ended up dropping down from the 25k. Actually, I was saying it over here, from the 23k range down to the 20k, 19k area. This is exactly what happened, and it managed to save Bitcoin. So now we've got the very same indicator on a slightly shorter time frame, offering us major support in this price level if we get a big dump right now. I'm sorry guys, but I just can't get on the bandwagon of being scared of Bitcoin right now. I want you guys to very carefully consider when you're feeling something in the space, when you're feeling something when you look at the chart, is everybody else agreeing with you? I keep saying this. It's one of the most reliable markers you can use to give yourself good analysis and to give yourself good edges on the market which you can trade with. If you find that you feel something and everyone that you look at agrees with you, you're probably wrong. You're probably in the 90% of traders that are not doing very well. If we take a look at things like the Fear and Greed Index, which I've been showing you a little bit over these last days, we have a situation here where we've got, again, more shorts than longs. Right now, we've got 0.83 longs for every short with retail traders, but top traders still majority long. Bybit, a little bit more evenly split, but we've still got majority shorts in the market right now. People really want to see the market dropping. People really want to see the market in a weak place. But the reality is, we've consolidated at the high. Yes, I know it looks like distribution. This is, you know, I mean, the market moves up and then it just kind of fucks about sideways, right? So it definitely looks like distribution in that sense, especially getting big dumps like this, followed by dumps at the very same price level. Totally understand. That could mean that we're going to be dropping lower, but we have to consider, you know, when that selling pressure is gone, bearing in mind that we are right now in an uptrend, right? You can't really deny this. I don't really care how bearish you are. We are in an uptrend, at least in this short or midterm chart. We have been in an uptrend where we've been setting higher lows and higher highs, where we've been overall trending up for 4 months. So how somebody can still look at this chart and tell me that, you know, we must be setting new lows and so on, to me is a little bit unreasonable, right? You know, I think that we need to do more before that, you know, before we can really start to entertain those ideas. I'm not saying that the bear market is over. Macro, long-term, one-day chart, one-week chart, we are incredibly bearish. My outlook on that has not changed. It hasn't changed since we were down at 17k. It hasn't changed now $10,000 higher with this move that I predicted for you guys, with this move that I traded and pulled absolutely ridiculous gains on, $180,000 in profit. Insane results here. VIP saw everything happen. In fact, you didn't even need to be in VIP to see that happen, because I posted this trade setup that I took in 𝐿𝐹𝐿𝐹𝐿 Gold as well, which you can join with this link in the description. This is my free Telegram channel, and following these red arrows over here take you into VIP. You can send me a message directly and get inside, talk with me directly if you're interested. But, you know, I'm just not too worried about it right now. I am seeing Bitcoin potentially coming back down to just find a little bit of support. Now, where I start to get a little bit worried is if we fall below 25k. I have told you guys quite a bit that if we do fall down, I'm giving leeway down to about 24. 24 is where I think Bitcoin will bottom out if we end up dropping down that low. But if we do start falling lower than 24k, then what that means is that what should have been a very important support level, 25k. The reason I'm saying it should be very important is, you know, look, we found very strong resistance off this level multiple times. We don't have a lot to go off. in this range. We're actually engaging right now in price discovery, which means that we're at a level which basically is new for Bitcoin. It's not strictly speaking new for Bitcoin, but you can see throughout Bitcoin's history, if we trace this orange dotted line, which represents the current price of Bitcoin, we haven't really traded around here. We had a little bit of consolidation here, didn't do anything here, didn't do anything here, and now we're here, you know? So we don't have any price history in this range. So we're in price discovery mode right now. And what that means is we don't have a whole lot to go off. You know, it's a lot easier to say support at 20k, resistance at 30k. In between these two price levels, 20k and 30k, it's a lot harder to say where the price might fall down to and find support from and so on. But 25k, because of what we've done recently since August, has been a critical level for the market. And so that's what I'm looking at for support of Bitcoin. But if it fails, then that does mean we failed what would, in my opinion, be quite an important support area. That does also mean that we would fail the 4-hour Ichimoku cloud, all right, because the 4-hour Ichimoku cloud only extends down to 24.2. That would also potentially mean, let's take a look at the EMA ribbon, that would also mean that we've lost the EMA ribbon on the daily. A lot of bad things would happen if Bitcoin falls below 24k. So for me, that's the level. That's the level where I'm going to be like, all right, look, short-term uptrend, okay, even if we drop down to 23, even if we drop down to 20k, guys, we're still maintaining the short-term uptrend, but I will start to say, all right, you know what? It looks like this trend really has lost steam. If you can say that now, you know what I mean? Like, I just think it's a little bit premature to be making that kind of conclusion after a 5% drop, after we've rallied up by, you know, 42%. What am I talking about? Much more than that, nearly double. Don't know where I got 42% from. My bad. I'm sorry. This rally was 42%, right? Yeah, around there. So, you know, we've already rallied up by like 90%, 86%. We're pulling back by 5%. Fuck me. It's no big deal. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know why people are losing their minds about this and saying 12k is too optimistic even. You know, there are people, you know, kind of spreading that kind of sentiment in the space right now, which I'm just not worried about. But like I said, below 24k, we start losing a lot of important support. We start breaking market structure. We start losing key indicators as well that I think are useful. That would not be good. That would be where I start to get concerned. But anything above that, I'm just seeing support retest. You know, I'm seeing an uptrend having to cool down for a little bit because we moved up very aggressively. You know, we're having to cool down. We're having to pull back before potentially just engaging these higher levels again. I still think this is what we're going to be doing. It is Monday now. We didn't see anything crazy happen with things like the S&P 500. In fact, if anything, a bit of a pullback. Take a look at this. Yeah, nothing crazy, right? Nothing insane, nothing particularly interesting to write home about. Gold, not doing anything interesting either. The dollar's slipping lower, which again is strong for us at the moment. You know, look, I don't like to be the guy that's bringing doom and gloom to you guys at all. I never be the, you know, I never want to be the one that's spreading fear. If something is scary in the market, then okay, but I'm not going to try and make you scared of it. I'll just tell you what I'm seeing. But you know, with the recent news of Russia announcing that they want to settle a lot of their trade between, by the way, it's not just Asia, they want to settle their trade between Asia, South America, Africa, all in Chinese yuan, yen, I don't know, one of the two, yuan I think it is. And so that's pretty bad for the dollar, right? And that's not just, it's not just the dollar, it's not just Russia that's trying to do this. A bunch of other big countries around the world that, you know, you would be concerned about if they stop using the dollar are also expressing interest in not using the dollar. At the same time, people just don't fucking like the dollar anymore, right? I mean, it's just, you know, a lot of the world was forced to use it anyway because of how, you know, the stage was set up. But now everyone's trying to break free of that, and we are seeing the dollar continue to drop. So, you know, from a fundamental analysis point of view, I don't really see how the dollar is going to gain a significant amount of superiority, right? I mean, can we pump up like this a little bit on this index? Obviously, yes. Can we even go up this high? Yes, of course. But are we going to be breaking this high? Are we going to be like, you know, up to the 180s like we were at, you know, decades ago? And you know, people are 160s even, and people are talking about this, you know, rubbing themselves off to a 164 you know, number for the dollar index right here, just getting very, very excited with their lotion. You know, are we actually doing that right now? I don't think so. You know, I mean, that question is the same question as, do you think the U.S. economy is going to become extremely fucking strong compared to the rest of the world, you know, like it was before, or is it going to keep losing its strength? That's the same question you're asking, right? So when we're talking about, and I don't want to get too much into the politics of it because that's not what this channel is about, but it is relevant. When we're talking about those kind of things, it's fair to, in my opinion, expect or at least prepare for a weaker dollar on this index, which should allow indices and assets like Bitcoin to continue to rise, right? So that's something as well which I'm keeping in mind. I know that there's a lot of complexities around this stuff right now, you know, and I do like to dive into them a little bit on this YouTube channel, but it can sometimes become a little bit too advanced, even for my knowledge. But for me, I'm still seeing the stage for Bitcoin to rally harder into the 30k range. It is absolutely fair and correct to point out that this is heavy resistance. This is the heaviest resistance Bitcoin has on the chart right now, full stop. There's nothing worse than this on the chart right now, so we're going to need to really pull something impressive out of the bag. But good news, guys, we've already done that twice, okay? So, you know, is it, you know, particularly unreasonable to expect that Bitcoin can't do that again? I don't necessarily think so. I think Bitcoin is in a good position. You know, if we just kind of repeat the same rally that we've already done off 25k, that already puts us at the very top of our resistance range, up at $33,000, right? If we look at this line, you know, measuring the previous move from this low up to this high, we're more or less at the same place as well. You know, if we repeat this kind of move up from 25k, we're still basically at the top of our resistance range according to my charts. So, you know, if Bitcoin reproduces the same kind of move it's done before, it's looking really good for Bitcoin. You know, previously we took quite a while to basically, I mean, you know, just mess about, really, not really doing anything particularly useful for the chart until, you know, we ended up getting that big leg up. So we might need to do that again, right? Just do a bunch of annoying shit for like the next month and then we rise up. That might happen. I don't necessarily think it will. I think a deeper pullback and then just off to the races is what we're going to be getting. But of course, you know, that's something which I'm going to be standing by to see. I'm still in my long position. I entered this position on Bybit, where you can get up to $30,000 for free by signing up. OKX will offer you 20k in addition to that in rewards, up to 20k, I should clarify. It's very easy to get these rewards. All you got to do is register and you get up to 10k in a mystery box. And then start depositing and trading, you get another 10k in rewards as well. Very, very cool. Bybit offering you up to 30k just straight cash. Throw it into the market, trade with it, have fun with it. That is what it's for. It is free money for you to take advantage of, so definitely check them out if you are interested in those two exchanges. You know, to just get a bunch of free cash, free rewards and stuff as well. Very, very cool opportunity indeed. I'm continuing to watch dominance for Bitcoin. Dominance for Bitcoin is rising yet again. We are approaching my target, although we are very, very close to it right now. These small percentage moves are a big deal, right? If the dominance rises by 0.5%, that is a big deal. It's worth keeping in mind the global market cap of crypto and the market cap of Bitcoin at $500 billion. You know, another 0.5% move, it represents a lot of money moving around. And we can see this reflected with our Bitcoin pairs, obviously. Ethereum against Bitcoin continuing to slide. It is finding some support right now, but it's in a descending triangle. And actually, if I'm not mistaken, a lot of coins are doing something like this right now, where they've been trending down, you know, symmetrical triangle, descending triangle, whatever you want to call it, right? Like resistance looking a little bit like this. You could maybe argue we're holding the same floor, so that's showing us pressure is pushing to the downside, floor is staying the same. We're probably going to collapse and fall quite heavily, right? Like that's generally what it means. If you want to draw it as a symmetrical triangle, something a little bit like this, it still points in the same direction. So, you know, we're not looking at being in a particularly great position against Bitcoin pairs right now. You know, again, just some of the others that are easy to analyze. Cardano against Bitcoin, not looking great. Tron against Bitcoin, actually gaining a little bit. That's interesting. I didn't expect to see that. Let's take a look at Binance against Bitcoin. It's a really good measure. Binance has obviously been hit with some FUD today. The CFTC, once again, jumping in, trying to allege things that they don't know anything about. I don't like Binance. I actually really despise Binance as a company and player in the space, and that's for a different day for why, but ultimately I dislike governments even more than I dislike any single corporation, and they are still trying to fuck with crypto with the US government. So you know, they are seeing a little bit of a drop. I think this is also just natural for the price. This is what we were going to see anyway, but it is definitely exacerbated. It's made worse a little bit by what's going on with the CFTC. This, like all other FUD, like all other instances where the US government with completely underqualified, far too old politicians that don't understand what's going on in crypto, you know, just like what's happened with them many, many times before, this will pass. this will blow over, nothing will happen, and that's because they will eventually realize that they don't know what the fuck they're talking about, and they'll drop it until 6 months later, and they'll come back and say something else that they don't understand again. And that's just there you go. That's just how institutions like the CFTC work. We don't need to pay much attention to them. They'll just keep on crying and then shutting up a little bit for another 6 months until someone else makes an issue. So that's what I'm expecting there. I'm expecting that to pass the same way as everything else. We had FUD about USDT. We had FUD about XRP. None of this stuff ever materializes. And I don't think Binance is in any trouble. I do think Binance is a legitimate company in that way. So at least they have that going for them. Congratulations, CZ. And that, I think, is going to insulate them from problems. So any, short-term FUD, potentially, I think just taking us down to levels like 25K. And then, allowing us to potentially rally up further into the 30K range is still what I'm looking at. And I'm not actually seeing anything different on this chart at this current stage. There you go. Hope you've enjoyed this one. You know exactly what to do. If you want to jump inside a VIP, follow these steps on screen. You got 50% off right now. If you want to take advantage of these amazing offers where I was trading Bitcoin, then check out Bybit, up to 30K in rewards, up to 20K in rewards with OKX as well. Links to everything in the description. You know what to do. Hit up the like, subscribe, tick the bell. Make sure you got the bell icon checked, and if you want to get notifications, that you've got the YouTube notifications turned on in your phone settings. You can check my bell icon, you can check any YouTuber's bell icon as much as you like, but if your YouTube notifications are switched off in your phone settings, you're not going to get anything. So go check that out to make sure that you get delivery for them. I actually checked the numbers on this, by the way. A very high percentage of you have the bell icon checked. So first of all, fucking love you guys. Thank you. Second of all, a very high number of you do not have notifications for YouTube switched on. So it doesn't matter. You can click it as much as you like, but you're not going to get notified. The easiest way to get all notifications for what I do is by following this Telegram channel down here. But I don't actually post my uploads in there anymore. I can if you want me to, but I feel like it's a little bit spammy, and I want to keep the channel, more towards this analysis. I mean, it's blurred out over here, but I'm, sharing a chart and telling you what I think of the market. That's more what gold is. You're just getting more analysis for myself and my team around the clock. All right, guys, thank you all very much, and I'll see you all in the next one. Cheers.